Evening, everyone. Welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV's coverage of the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Car Championship on iRacing. For the first time in the series history, the series will come to Lincoln, Pennsylvania's Lincoln Speedway, newly added to the iRacing form. I'm joined by Tyler Harris tonight. Tyler, think of awesome tracks in PA. We talk about Williams Grove, where we were at last week, but we also talk about the Lincoln Speedway, and as I just mentioned, recently added to the iRacing service.
The fabulous Lincoln Speedway, home of the Icebreaker, one of the first dirt races that you will see on the East Coast in the 2023 season, and for every season for that matter. A great racing track, a great racing surface, and I'm excited to see how everything translates over to the iRacing realm here tonight in the Apex 410 Sprint Car Series.
Qualifying looks to be all but wrapped up as the clock winds down. Currently, Evan C. the fastest at a 12.731. Currently, no one else on track. 10 seconds remaining. Your points leader, Mason Hannigan, in second. Blake Majula's third. Last night's winner in the 360, Clayton Tilley fourth. Timothy Smith rounds out the top five. The clock runs down. 27 cars checked into the pit area for tonight's racing action. So it will be Evan C., your quickest qualifier here tonight with a lap of 12.731. Little Hurricane Mason Hannigan second. Blake Majula's third. Clayton Tilley fourth. Timothy Smith fifth. Kenny Miller sixth. Alex Rzinski seventh. Tanner Pettit eighth. Villa ninth. And Kenny Hoffman rounds out the top 10. Then it go into heat race number 1. Quick time qualifier by virtue of going quick time. Evan C. will start on the inside of the front row, and you heard me mention his name a little bit earlier. Clayton Tilley, last night's winner of the 360, lines up to his outside. Alex Rzinski and PA driver Kenny Hoffman make up row number 2. Bryce Lucius and Adam Elby row number 3. Aiden Forster, who was very competitive last night in the 360, he'll start 7th. Alongside him, J.D. Brown. And it'll be one of the 51 esports cars, the 17 of Eric Whitner, rounding out your 9-car starting lineup.
A very interesting heat race lineup here. Tons and tons of talent. Evan C. Clayton Tilley has been fast as he was last night in the 360s. Trzynski's made a name for himself. Bryce Lucius has been quick as of late. J.D. Brown fresh off of a podium finish just last week. And then you got also Eric Whitner and Aiden Forrester, who have been mixing it up around the top 10 rather of the point standings throughout the course of this season. So tons of talent in heat race number 1. It's going to be interesting to see which one of these creams rise to the top.
The stat that Brett just pulled up on the bottom of the screen, 8 pro drivers in heat race number 1. Top 3 go straight into the feature event. First of 3 heat races here tonight. It's also the winner of this one will start on the pole of tonight's feature event with the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Sprint Car Championship here on iRacing. A star-studded front row, and talked about Alex Rzinski, Kenny Hoffman. There's going to be 2 guys that are going to be fun to watch in this one. Hoffman has not had the greatest relationship with the Lincoln Speedway since it's been added on iRacing. Last night went for a big ride early in the Next Level Racing 360 feature event, looking for a better night here tonight as pace trucks off to the infield.
Though Hoffman not so successful in the early stages here at Lincoln, has been hot as of late in the Apex series, so we'll see if he can continue that momentum. Easy for me to say as a green flag gets ready to drop here in heat race number 1.
Again, top 3 transfer into tonight's feature event. We're clean and green through turns 1 and 2. Up the back straightaway, it's going to be Evan C. from the pole position, bolting out to the early lead.
Aforementioned Kenny Hoffman choosing that high line, looks to run it effectively, makes contact with Trzynski and is going to lose a lot of ground here. Cars go up into the wall, but just like that, he regains that third and final transfer spot.
Bryce Lucius was the car that went off the racetrack. His heat race is done. We'll see him in a lower main. It's Evan C., Clayton Tilley second, Kenny Hoffman the third and final transfer as they run on the speedway. Look at Tilley roll the bottom through 3 and 4. That's where he was so good last night, and if the track turns away, look for Tilley to be strong, but he goes from being the inside guardrail last night to banging the boards through 1 and 2 tonight.
Got to be dexterous here at the Lincoln Speedway. You got to find a way around while you can. That track's going to change, and you've got to be versatile in order to pull ahead and get ahead in this route, on this track and in this race. Kenny Hoffman still holding on to that spot, but here comes Aiden Forrester. You have it on your screen right in front of you, coming out of 4. Forrester all over the tail tank of Kenny Hoffman. He's going to dive low into 1 and 2, looking for the slider coming out of 2. He's got it momentarily, but a crossover move for Kenny Hoffman regains that third transfer spot.
Teammates going at it for the final transfer spot in heat race number 1. Hoffman's got it at the stripe with only just 3 laps to go as they bolt through turns 1 and 2. Hoffman clears Forrester now by about 3 or 4 car lengths into 3.
Forster's not done yet. Through the middle he goes, trying to find any way he can to get around Kenny Hoffman here. Hoffman looking really good on that high line, so Forster is going to have to get a little bit creative. JD Brown with the best seat in the house now make that Alex Strzynski as he now moves up to the 5th spot. Kenny Hoffman banging the boards, coming out of 3 and 4 as 2 laps remain.
Brown, while he was watching those two, as Forrester into the fence, Brown got into the fence and tipped it over, so that's going to bring an end to his heat race. As the white flag is out, 1 lap to go. Evan C., the driver currently 5th in Apex points, leads the charge down the backstretch into 3 and 4.
Coming out of 3 and 4 to the checkered flag, Clayton Tilley not going to have enough here. Evan C., your heat race winner here tonight for the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car heat race number 1. Clayton Tilley going to come across the line in second. Kenny Hoffman will round out that podium and claim that 3rd and final transfer spot. Aiden Forster, Strzynski, Whitner, Brown, LB, and Lucius are going to have to get into the kitchen and start making some soup.
Doubt about it. Already, we're going to see some stacked lower mains, but one more time, Evans T., your winner, and he will start on the pole of tonight's feature event, looking for the clean sweep. Second, Kenny Hoffman. 3rd, those are your 3 transfers, and it's Forster, Strzynski, Whitner, Brown, LB, and Lucius going to a lower main. As we get ready to go for heat race number 2, your current points leader, Little Hurricane, Mason Hannigan, will start from the inside of the front row and to his outside, Timothy Smith. California driver Tanner Pettit starts to the inside of row number 2, and 2 is outside in the 5. That's Braden Eiler. Below Lane Snook make up row number 3. Aiden Beerline will be fun to watch coming from deep in this one, and 2 is outside will be Kevin Miller. Randy Shreves in the 5th and final row by his lonesome will start shotgun on the field.
Hard to believe that Little Hurricane Mason Hannigan, though your current points leader, the best average finish throughout the course of the year so far, as a 3rd place finish is his average. However, winless in the Apex series so far this year. So Mason Hannigan looking to eye up his first victory of the season. We will see if he can do it here tonight at Lincoln.
He was out here last night with the Next Level Racing 360 sprint cars, getting some valuable laps. More pro drivers in this heat race. So far, we've seen 14 pro drivers in just 2 heat races. That really goes to show you the strength of the Apex series. And it's one of the leaders when it comes to iRacing, especially with the winged 410 sprint cars. So talk about Aiden Beerline. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Tyler, but Aiden Beerline, 8th in points, comes from deep in this one. He starts 7th. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to make the show straight out of the heat.
And Timothy Smith, 1 position just ahead of him in the point standings in 7th. So definitely some top point orders here throughout the course of the season. Blake Giglio currently tied for 10th in points with Tanner Pettit, who is also in this heat race. So tons and tons to watch out for in heat race number 2.
Our studded field as Hannigan and Smith bring the field down to the fire-off zone in turn number 4. Winner of this will start on the outside of the front row for the main event. Green flag is out.
Into turns 1 and 2 they go. Mason Hannigan with the early advantage with Timothy Smith down low. Mason Hannigan going to try to ride some momentum off the top side of 2, but here comes Timothy Smith to the inside. Hannigan going to go up high, almost touching the wall. Talk about touching the wall. Timothy Smith does. He's going to lose valuable ground.
Smith got into the back of Tanner Pettit there entering turn number 1 and 2. He about looped it as we have a 4-way race for the 3rd and final transfer spot. Pettit has got it for the moment. Here comes Timothy Smith back on the bottom, and there's Beerline right in the picture as well.
A lot of run on the bottom of 4 right now, and I think Timothy Smith has found something down there. We'll see if he can use that to advance forward and try to reclaim that the 2nd and possibly 1st spot. You see the battle going on there. Oh, car into the wall. I believe that was Blake Giglio into the wall there, and you see some Lane Snook backing out now. Happy belated birthday to John Beerline, or belated heavenly birthday to John Beerline, passed away not long ago. Always in our thoughts and prayers. We continue going here halfway through heat race number 2. Mason Hannigan, your leader. Timothy Smith now going to come to the inside and claim the lead of his own.
Track has definitely changed in the span of just 2 heat races. Timothy Smith has definitely got the bottom unlocked, and all Mason Hannigan can do for the moment is watch that 86 drive away into turn number 3. Now Hannigan adjusts his line. That's going to open up the door to Eiler on the outside. That's the race for 2nd. But Tyler's got to be careful. While they are racing hard for a better starting spot in the feature, they're also both currently in transfer spots. You don't want to jeopardize that.
No, you do not, and especially with an ace like Aiden Beerline behind you with the best seat in the house. He sees where the racing's at, and he's loving what he's seeing in front of him. Hopefully those cars, in his case, are going to slow themselves up. But nonetheless, only 3 now coming up to 2 laps remaining in this heat race. Braden Eiler going to try running that high line now to try to gain some momentum to make that run on Mason Hannigan. That run looks like it's coming down the backstretch and into 3 and 4.
Continues to bring his momentum up to the high side. Hannigan swings a little bit wide in the middle there. Hannigan has the second spot as they race under the white flag. 1 lap to go in heat race number 2. Smith looks to have this one locked up. The question is, who's going to finish in second?
Coming out of 3 and 4, we will see at the line. It's going to be close, but no cigar for Braden Eiler. Mason Hannigan comes across the line in the second spot, but Timothy Smith in first, and Braden Eiler will have to settle for third, but nonetheless, definitely has something to hang his hat on with a transfer into tonight's A main feature event. You take a look at the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Heat Race number 2 results. Timothy Smith, once again, your winner. Mason Hannigan second, Braden Eiler in third, Beerline fourth, Giglio fifth, Pettit, Miller, Shreves, and Snook round out the field.
Ready to go now for our third and final heat race of the night. Still taking 3 out of this one. 10 laps the distance. Your lineup to the inside of the front row. That's where we'll see Blake in the 127. To his outside is Kenny Miller, a standout in the Keystone State when it comes to non-wing sprint cars. Ryan Avila in one of the esports cars coming up to the inside of row number 2. And the driver with the most success in series history, currently second in the points, that's Tyler Schell. The inside of row number 3, the only driver with more than 1 win on the season, that's the Speed Shop, or excuse me, that's the Swindell Speed Lab 52 of James Edens, and to his outside is Dylan Yeager. The 4th and Gunnar Harris, that will be a fun driver to watch all the way back from the starting spot. JP Schneider will round out your 9-car starting lineup.
Once again, lots to look out here tonight. A lot of pro drivers in the field as it is, but also in this one, Blake Majulis, the top-rated iRacer in sprint car competition, if I'm not mistaken, or just in competition alone in dirt track racing. Struggling a little bit this season in wing sprint car competition. We'll see if he can't rebound here tonight.
Brett just put up another pro stat at the bottom of your screen on Ultimate Dirt TV. Now we've had 20 cars, or I should say 20 pro drivers hit the racetrack for heat race action out of the 27. Is quite impressive, and me away when we look at the Apex series. Yes, Brett, you are the stat man. So we like to, you know, give our compliments to Brett, but sometimes he's got to give himself his own compliments. Brett Wheeler with Ultimate Dirt TV put on a great broadcast for everyone here tonight. Hope you're enjoying his work as we are underway here in the third and final heat race. Oh, Tyler Schell in the wall in turn number 1. He keeps it going, but he lost some valuable time.
That he did. Blake Majulis did not lose any time of his own. Cars making contact coming out of 3 and 4. One of them, Dylan Yeager, was moving up quick, now drops back to the 6th spot. Cars in front of him now are James Edens, Tyler Schell, Ryan Avila, and Blake Majulis, though, as I was mentioning, off to the early race lead.
A 3-car breakaway to kick off heat race number 3 as Schell and Edens go side by side for the 4th spot down the front stretch. Eden wall rides and bikes it, keeps it going. Gunnar Harris back behind. Schneider and Harris make contact. They all keep it straight some way, somehow. We stay green.
Kenny Miller in that 2nd spot right now. Ryan Avila in 3rd. Field starting to evenly space themselves out compared to how they were in the first couple opening laps. Take a look at the onboard camera here. Dylan Yeager in front of him, in front of James Edens in the 48. We're taking a look live through 1 and 2 now. Going to go to the outside, try to build some momentum. Nothing coming so far. Looks like the inside line of 1 and 2 is the way to go in these early stages.
Edens, credit to him, is trying a bunch of different ways to tackle the high side and the middle through turns 1 and 2. Just none of them working for him just yet, and him and Yeager made some pretty serious contact on lap number 1, now riding on board with Dylan Yeager as he chases down Tyler Schell for that 4th spot, and it looks like right now they're reeling in the 49, not by a lot, but just little by little. They're closing in. I think it's worth mentioning both of them are closing in on the 49. We could have a 3-way race for the transfer as we come down to the wall.
3 laps remain here. Blake Majula still your leader by almost a half a second over Kenny Miller. As you mentioned, a famed non-wing driver out of the state of Pennsylvania. So probably very familiar with this track. Probably has had a few laps around this place in real life. As you take a look at that battle, man, Dylan Yeager gets into the inside wall with that left front, able to keep it going, though. He's going to have to regain some ground here on Tyler Schell as the white flag flies.
Track is certainly narrowed up, especially in 3 and 4. It could be hard for these drivers to close in. It looks like Avila's going to squeak away for that 3rd spot. So they are racing for 4th back to the checkered flag. It's going to be Blake Majula's picking up the win. Kenny Miller 2nd, and Ryan Avila your 3rd and final transfer out of Heat 3. And then Schell, Yeager, Edens, Gearing, Schneider, and Gunnar Harris rounding out the field.
Excellent heat race action to this point, as the next and upcoming race will be the C main. But first, let's take a look at those results. Blake Majula is your winner. Kenny Miller, Ryan Avila round out your podium. Tyler Schell, Yeager, Edens, Gehring, Scheider, and Gunnar Harris, as you all mentioned, Drake. So C mains coming up now. A little bit of soup action coming up. We're going to see how things shake down, and I'm sure as the aforementioned Brett Wheeler will have the, look at that, on cue, has the starting lineup.
Brown will lead the field of green in tonight's C main event, and to his outside, Kevin Miller. Merle Gehring and Adam Elby. Pretty solid row number 2 there for tonight's C main event. Randy Treves, JP Schneider, row number 3. Then it's going to be Bryce Lucis and Lane Snook making up row number 4. And starting shotgun on the field, the 9th starting spot will be the Texan, Gunnar Harris. 3 from the C and 11 from the B main event. That will be the transfers for tonight's. But once again, top 3 from the C main event. Starts to roll off in tonight's C main event. Once again, top 3 to the B main event. And there's a few drivers that could make a pretty exciting soup run. JD Brown, who starts from the pole, he could be one.
I believe JD Brown did it last week. He had a very impressive week last week with the Apex series. We'll see if he can't replicate that here tonight.
Back now from Kevin Miller's car, not to be confused with Kenny Miller. I often get those two mixed up, so it's an understandable thing if you get them mixed up. But Kevin Miller starting from the outside of the front row. We should be going green flag racing this time by in tonight's C main event for the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Car Championship.
I believe Brett was shaking the camera up and down to indicate a yes. Oh, there it is. Man, I tell you what, he's on point tonight. You got to give props where it's due.
Good tonight. I've noticed that. As the field comes down off of turn number 4, the green flag is out in tonight's C main event. We'll take 3 out of this to the feature, or the B feature, excuse me.
Off the start, JD Brown, a huge advantage going down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. But Gehring and Miller battling it out now for that 2nd spot. And some other cars going to throw their hat into the ring. Adam Elby being one of them. He gets by Gehring on the middle of 1 and 2, now holding on to that 3rd and final transfer spot.
Like 3 drivers having problems off the start. Lane Snook, Randy Shreves, and Gunnar Harris have all headed to the pits or are already out of this event. No yellow flags in lower mains with the Apex series, so we're going to keep it clean and green.
JP Scheider moving up to that 4 spot. He's now battling it out with Merle Gehring as he goes up to the high side, he being Merle Gehring. Number change this week on Gehring's rod. Used to be the number 6, now the number 11. Nonetheless, battling for that 4th spot, JP Scheider and Merle Gehring in the 4th.
Drivers are battling to be the first guy on the outside in. Schneider's got a run on Gehring, and he's going to clear him down into 1 and 2. The 5 sits to the top side, but here comes Bryce Lucis into the mix as well. He's got a good run down the backstretch, trying to make it 3 wide into the corner.
What a 3-car battle going on, and you talk about a battle going on. Look at that battle on your screen now. Kevin Miller, Adam Elby battling for position, but you can't battle too hard because you don't want to jeopardize your transfer spot. 6 laps complete in this C main, meaning that there are 4 laps to go. Make that 3 as they cross the line. JD Brown's still your leader.
Respectful and clean racing for that 2nd spot. Elby's going to get the best of Kevin Miller, so now Kevin Miller on the hot seat as Gehring pursues him down the backstretch into 3 and 4. He's going to take a look low side. Nothing there off at turn number 4.
Low side was there in turn 4 in the early stages of these heat races, but now as the track breaks down, you got to get a little bit more creative. The middle might be the way to go right now. Most of these drivers are running through the middle as you see that battle between Gehring and Miller now for that third and final transfer spot. Gehring going to go to the inside, going to try to stick it through the middle. Kevin Miller goes up high. Still enough bite up there, but just, man, down the backstretch, what a run for Gehring.
Through the slick, through 3 and 4, they're side by side with 1 lap to go. Throw Bryce Lucius into the mix. They both bang off the wall. Lucius, that's going to allow Kevin Miller to squeak away into the final transfer spot. JD Brown with the win, and then it's Elby and Kevin Miller going to the B main event.
Tough break for Lucius and Scheider there. Unbelievable turn of events. When you thought you were going to possibly make it in on a transfer, just like that, it can be swept underneath you or taken out from underneath you. And unfortunately for Merle Gehring the fourth, he's going to have to be on the outside looking in here tonight. He's going to have to watch from the stands.
But, man, those guys went for it. J.D. Brown with the win. Adam Elby second. Kevin Miller, your third and final transfer. We'll see those cars here in just a minute for tonight's B main event. Then it's Gehring and Lucius. Tip of the cap to both those drivers. They absolutely went for it down to turn number 1. Both of them came up snake-eyed in the fence. Then it's J.P. Schneider, Randy Shreves, Lane Snook, Gunnar Harris as well done for the evening. We'll get ready to go for our B main event. Top 11 out of this one go to the tail of the feature. Your lineup in one of the 51 esports cars. That's the 20 of Aiden Forrester, and 2 is outside Aiden Beerline in the top 10 in points currently with the Apex Series. And speaking of points, the driver who's won the most titles and most races with this series starts third. That's Tyler Schell, comes in the night second in points. 2 is outside is Alex Trzynski. Run number 3, we'll see 2 All-Stars in Blake Giglow and Dylan Yeager. Whitner and Tanner Pettit, 2 of the 51 esports cars, make up run number 4. Swindell Speed Labs, James Edens will start from the 9th starting spot. 2 is outside RC main event winner, J.D. Brown. Another one of the Swindell Speed Lab cars, the 74 of Adam Elby, will start in the 11th spot. And your 12th and final start, your final transfer out of tonight's C main event, is Kevin Miller.
What a field of cars. This could be an A main feature event. Aiden Forster podium last night in the 360s, now looking from the outside in the B main. Though a prominent spot to start on the front row. We'll see if he can capitalize and transfer on in here tonight, keep his nose clean. I think that might just be the name of the game if you want to transfer.
Absolutely, and with only 12 cars starting, we're taking 11. So basically the guy that finishes last is the only one out. That does make everybody's job a little bit easier, and obviously you never want to finish last in any race, especially this one, because you'll be the one guy not going to the feature. We'll take 11 out of this and put them at the back of the feature. Green flag is out in tonight's B main.
Into the wall.
Wheelies, it keeps it going.
Keeps it going. Contact
well, we got
there.
more cars starting.
You and I just on top of the action here tonight. Unbelievable turn of events there for Giglio, J.D. Brown, and Dylan Yeager. As we said, you just got to keep your nose clean. Some of these drivers struggling to do that in these early stages. Not the case for Aiden Forrester, Tyler Schell, and Alex Trzynski. They are your top 3.
As it sits right now is your 11th and final transfer spot. J.D. Brown just trailing behind him by a few tenths. This is the race for 5th right now between 2 51 esports cars, Tanner Pettit in the white 24 and Eric Whitner in the white 17.
A little bit of
red 17.
A little bit of rivalry there is never a bad thing within teammates. You got to definitely gauge yourself upon one another, but nonetheless, friends at the end of the day. B-main rolls on here, 5 laps complete in this B-main rather. We see a battle for position there. That is Aiden Beerline and Aiden Beerline, Tanner Pettit, and Alex Trzynski. An interesting battle there for the top podium spot.
The track has done a complete 180 down in 3 and 4. Just a little while ago in the C main event, everybody was either hugging the guardrail or just up in the slick. Now look at the top 3. Now 4 banging the board through 3 and 4, and we have a 3-way race for the 3rd spot. Trzynski, Beerline, Pettit going at it for 3rd.
What a slide job there for Beerline coming out of 3 and 4. He's going to look to try to do it again, though. A lot more clearance this time around on lap number 8. It is going to be Trzynski making that crossover move back to the inside, reclaiming that 3rd spot, but Beerline's not done yet. Tanner Pettit in that 5th spot, looking on with the best seat in the house.
going to get a run off at turn number 4 on Beer Line. They nearly make contact for the 4th spot. Those two go side by side through 1 and 2. Off the corner, Pettit's going to have a run on the top. But here comes Beer Line once again on the bottom, side by side for 4th in the 3.
What a race here in this B main event here. 10 laps complete. That means 3 laps to go. You're taking a look on your screen. Alex Jasinski on the high side. Individual lines coming through in here as they go to the low side. Huge run there for Tanner Pettit. Now up to the 3rd spot. Was running 5th to 3rd now. He is on the move.
Back through the field. J.D. Brown is now the last car in a transfer spot as that lineup shuffles. Now it's Blake Giglow, your 11th and final transfer as they run. Eric Whitner, who is just behind this battle, is now all of a sudden down in 12th as they turn for the white flag. There you see Giglow in that black and teal 16. He's the 11th and final transfer as they work the final lap.
We take a look back to your leaders, though, as the checkered flag flies. Aiden Forrester picks up the B main victory here tonight. And Tyler Shell will come home in second with Tanner Pettit rounding out your podium. Aiden Beerline and Alex Straczynski, after battling so long for that 3rd spot, are going to have to settle for 4th and 5th, respectively. We take a look at the B main results here. Straczynski, as I mentioned, your 5th in the top 5 spot. Adam Elby will be 6th, James Eden 7th, J.D. Brown 8th, Kevin Miller 9th, and Blake Giglio rounds out the top 10. Dylan Yeager moves on in the 11th spot, and Eric Whitner, the outside looking in, unfortunately for Eric. He will have to wait and see next week at the I-55 Speedway. Unbelievable turn of events, unbelievable racing here in these early stages. We go to a warm-up session here, Drake, and we'll see what the A-Main has to bring.
Absolutely. So while they work in the track, we're going to step away. But when we come back on Ultimate Dirt TV, the feature event for the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Car Championship, so don't go anywhere.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
My name is Stephen Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the home page of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
Welcome back to Ultimate Dirt TV's coverage of the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wingsport 410 Sprint Car Championship on iRacing from the Lincoln Speedway. It is now feature time. Here is your 20 cars starting lineup going all the way from 20th on the grid all the way to the pole position. Starting 20th, your final transfer out of tonight's B main event will be Dylan Yeager, and to his inside will be Blake. Kevin Miller will start 18th with J.D. Brown on his inside. Swindell Speed Labs' James Edens will start 16th, and to his inside will be his teammate, the 74 of Adam Elby. Brzezinski and Aiden Beerline will make up an impressive row number 7. California driver Tanner Pettit will start 12th, and to his inside, series most winningest driver and has the most championships, comes into the night second in points. That's Tyler Schell. Into our top 10 last night, a podium run for this driver in the 360. That's Aiden Forster, and to his inside, esports teammate Ryan Avila. Eiler and Kenny Hoffman make up row number 4. Hoffman, of course, from the Keystone State, and another driver from the Keystone State, Kenny Miller, will start 6th. Your leader out of Pittsburgh, Indiana, Mason Hannigan, will start 5th. Last night's Next Level Racing 360 winner, Clayton Tilley, will start 4th. To his inside, Blake Majulis. And your row to the outside, he won heat race number 2 earlier this evening. That's Timothy Smith. On the pole, 33, he was quick time and won the first heat race. That puts him on the pole for tonight's feature event. That is Evan C.
A star-studded field here. 20 cars set to do battle here at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. 18 out of the 20 cars are pro card or pro holders for the iRacing. I believe that is the World of Outlaws World Championship. As green flag flies, we are underway here for the feature event for the Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car Series, week number 9.
C gets the break through turns 1 and 2. Blake Majulis in that multicolored 127 in second. Lap number 1 is going to go to Evan C.
Blake Majulis back after a little bit of a hiatus. As I mentioned, a little bit of a struggle throughout the course of this season in the wing sprint car realm. However, tonight, not that case. He is in that 3rd spot. Clayton Tilley on the outside looking in now, looking to close in on that podium position as Mason Hannigan is in your 5th spot.
Well, talking to Clayton Tilley after his win last night, he said he set up for the bottom just because he saw what the track was doing. He knew the bottom was the place where that car was going to work the best. Guess what, race fans? He's already back on the bottom side of the speedway, and he's coming to the front. He gets by Majulis momentarily for that third spot.
Blake Majulis going to hold on to that high line. He's set on it for now, kind of because he has to be, as Clayton Tilley finally completes that pass once again. A couple cars battling behind. We already mentioned Mason Hannigan, but here comes Kenny Miller as well. He's into the top 5.
And a good battle at the front of this field between Evan C. and Timothy Smith. Smith took a peek to the inside of 1 and 2. Evan C. was just able to get a good enough run off the corner. He leads him by about 5 car lengths in a 3. Smith back on the bottom one more time, but Evan C. holds the lead.
Evan C. looks to become the second 2-time winner in the Apex Series this season with a feature win here tonight. 7 laps complete, coming up to 8 laps complete now as he crosses the line. Timothy Smith, though, closing in on Evan C. About a 0.3 of a second difference if they go down the backstretch.
A 4-car race for that third spot, but Smith, you just mentioned it, Tyler, he is on the charge. He's got that bottom side working just like he did in his heat race. About 3 car lengths separate the top 2 through turns 1 and 2. Now Smith jumps up to the high side. They both almost bang it off the fence, exiting turn number 2. Smith closes in just by a tick, entering turn number 3. What can he do off of 4?
Doesn't look like Evan C. is committing to a line just yet. He is still moving around. Unfortunately, the sitting duck at this point, because you don't know what's coming behind you as of now. Besides Timothy Smith, he's got things well locked in place. But that doesn't mean things can't change in the next 30 laps. Clayton Tilley, Blake Majulis, and Kenny Miller are still holding on through your top 5. Mason Hannigan, Ryan Avila, Aiden Forster, Tyler Schell, and Alex Scherzinski now up into the top 10.
Gotta wonder if Clayton Tilley knows about the Hornet's Nest back behind, as here comes Majulis with a bid for the third spot down the front straightaway on the high side of the speedway. Majulis fires it off again in turn number 2, had to back it off just a little bit as I don't think he was entirely sure where Tilley was going to go off the corner. Majulis again winds up the 127 through 3 and 4, and at the stripe he's got third.
Still preferring that high line, and it looks like it's actually coming through for him now at this point. Not sure if that's fuel burn off taking place or if that's the track conditions improving for that high side. Nonetheless, it is starting to work, and he is starting to regain that ground. Things are looking good for him at the moment. Kenny Miller also trying to be a little bit ambidextrous here, running through the middle, running through the high side, running low, trying to see what he can as the caution flag flies. First caution of this A main feature event.
Not bad. We got 15 green flag laps in to start off tonight's 40-lap feature event. We'll take a look at a replay here in just a second to figure out what went wrong. I believe it was back in turn number 1. Tyler Schell, he needs a good points run tonight to close in on Mason Hannigan. He's racing with Alex Scherzinski, Dylan Yeager, Ryan. Oh, him and Scherzinski bounce off each other, and a violent stop for the 85 of Schell. That will bring out the first yellow of the evening.
Kind of stop as a widowmaker there, man. An abrupt stop like that can definitely do some damage. We're going to see if that's going to have any effect on the handling of that car going forward.
Honestly, it's just starting to think that's a part of the racetrack. We saw a few drivers get into trouble, and when they'd careen up on the wall like that, their car would just catch something. It would come to a dead stop. Something, to my knowledge at least, that doesn't happen a lot in the real world at Lincoln Speedway, but for whatever reason, that's just been the case recently here on iRacing. Of course, this track fairly new. I believe it's about a week or 2 old on the service.
Yeah, a little bit of problems it seemed like in the early stages of this release. Something with the night mode in this not being very favorable to the drivers, so hopefully they got the bugs worked out. So far, so good on our end here for the Apex Series. Everything looking good through 15 laps. Evan C., your leader.
He will bring us back to the restart zone. He's won everything tonight, and he's led every lap so far. Can't lead them all. That's the big question. C brings us back to the green flag. Good start for Blake Majulis. He's quickly in a second.
That he is right on the tail take of Evan C. as they go down the backstretch. Timothy Smith in third. Kenny Miller was in fourth, but now he is in a position battle with Clayton Tilley. Things are going to get shuffling and interesting here through these next couple of laps. 16 in. Evan C., your leader.
Comes Dylan Yeager. He is going full to Greg DeCara style on the bottom of the speedway, right around the guardrail, just like Clayton Tilley was doing last night, and he's picking up some serious positions.
definitely had a hot start to the season in the Apex Series this year. A little bit cooling off of period over the past couple of weeks. It hasn't been too prevalent, but nonetheless, he is prevalent here in this one. He's making his way forward. He is going to get into that top 5 if he has anything to say about it.
And Yeager behind the wheel, that 48 has got to be thinking, how low can I go? Because he's about scraping the guardrail as Tilly and another car about made contact right there. That was the 23 of Miller.
They did make contact. Got a little hairy there, and Dylan Yeager, as we were just talking about him, had to get on the binders to avoid any sort of contact. Yeager won at the I-55 Speedway on the bottom from mid-pack. Thank you very much, Brett Wheeler. I remember that race. One of the first races I had the advantage or opportunity to call here for the Apex Series. So Dylan Yeager in the late model ranks as well. You talk about being ambidextrous. He knows how to get it done in multiple facets of iRacing.
Dylan Yeager, as he is currently in this hornet's nest battle between Tilly, Forrester, and Hannigan. That is currently the race for the 6th spot as they work through 3 and 4. Look at Hannigan. He tried to bury it through the middle there, just ran out of racing room. And here comes Forrester. He's trying to pick them all off of 4.
Aiden Forrester within the top 6 in points in the Apex Series, and he is working his way forward. You talk about guys trying to make their way forward and close in some gaps. He is most certainly one of them in a position battle now with Dylan Yeager. As they go through 1 and 2, Dylan Yeager going to go through the middle, Forrester through the Forrester through the middle, Yeager down low, and they've got a person in Kenny Miller, Ryan Avila, and Timothy Smith ahead of them.
Battle shaping up on the racetrack right now is for that 3rd spot between Timothy Smith and Ryan Avila. Avila shoots around the outside. He'll hang on to the 3rd spot down the back straightaway, and they both close in on Majulis heading into turn number 3 and 4. And look at that, the 33 of Evan C. not too far ahead as well.
Avila has been a hot shoe this season in the iRacing ranks. His name has been thrown around multiple times, winning a lot of things as a caution flag comes out. Tough break. Ryan Avila was really on a tear on that run. We'll see what the caution was for here as the replay will come up.
Aiden Beerline in that red and white, number 13, right behind Szerzynski. Oh, and Szerzynski got bound up on the inside and left no place to go. He got hit by another car.
I believe that's the second incident for Szerzynski at this point, or second involvement in an incident to this point. So both cautions have had Szerzynski's involvement, whether they were his fault or not. Nonetheless, just an observation on my end. But Ryan Avila, going back to talking about him, has had an incredible season to this point. Picked up his first Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car victory earlier this season, and he's going to look to become the other second driver to win a two wins on the year in Apex. We'll see what he can do here in these closing 15 laps.
Guy to win more than one race this year has been James Edens, and Edens trying to have somewhat of a good night tonight. Has not gone to plan aboard the Swindell Speed Lab 52. He currently sits 18th with 5 laps down, and Avila's won win with the series came at Cedar Lake earlier this season. He currently sits 9th in the points coming into tonight, and the driver he's right behind in points, Aiden Beerline, was just caught up in that most recent accident. So Beerline able to continue on, fortunately, in the 15th spot, but we could see Avila move up to 8th in points after tonight. We'll just have to wait and see how everything shakes out. Meanwhile, up front, it's been the Evan C. show. He brings us back down to green.
3 cars going already quickly to battle. Ryan Avila ahead of him, but here comes Timothy Smith with a huge run on the outside. Ryan Avila is going to have to find an answer quickly. We take a look at the limb coming out of turns 3 and 4. Timothy Smith on that high line. He's looking strong.
Is out. This one car got kicked sideways entering turn number 3. That was Aiden Forrester. I just saw it towards the back of the screen, so we'll get a better look at it on the replay. So watch. White, green, and black, number 20, Aiden Forrester. I think with Hannigan. And I don't know if he locked it up or something, but that car got kicked sideways in a big-time way, or maybe he had a little bit too much wheel in it. Not sure what happened to Forrester, but it looks like he's able to continue on with maybe just a little bit of damage.
Yeah, tough break. You had a really good run coming. Looked like a very quick car. Looked like it was coming alive in the late stages of this race, but he's going to have a little bit of work to do if he wants to rebound a solid feature finish. Nonetheless, when you make an A-main feature, it is still a solid performance, so we'll see if he can improve his position. You look at the tail tank now of Ryan Avila, currently running in that 3rd spot. Not the ideal restart there, as Timothy Smith really had a nice jump on things. We'll see if Avila can capitalize on a fresh restart here.
Evan C. once again has had the perfect night up to this point. Quick time in qualifying, won his heat race. He's rolled the pole, and he's led every lap so far. And SpongeBob helmet he's rocking tonight, that thing looks pretty slick.
You know, I thought it was SpongeBob, but then I thought maybe Yoshi.
It's got a
Oh,
little,
that is SpongeBob, yeah, and the suit.
got the full package deal tonight.
Yeah, looking good. Looking good, Ryan Avila. I'll tell you what, he may have made a fan of me here tonight.
Well, he's going to try to see if he can bring that 49 machine and SpongeBob to victory lane tonight as we are back underway here at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway.
See, and Majolas, they go down the backstretch into 3 and 4. A lot better of a restart there for Ryan Avila. Timothy Smith up into the wall, and he's going to lose some ground on Avila.
Avila works the high side through turns 1 and 2 side by side with Majulis off the corner. Ryan Avila gets past Majulis, and the one car that stands between him and victory lane tonight is the 33 of MC. Majulis comes back though off of turn number 4 on the inside part of the speedway. It seems just about every line is quick around the Lincoln Speedway.
Majulis back down to the inside in turns 3 and 4, and Ryan Avila going to ride the tail tank of Evan C. around the high side of that same turn. And look at the cars coming up through now. Kenny Miller, Dylan Yeager are cars that are battling within the top 3. Blake Majulis, you've got your hands full.
And Avila drops the nose on the 49. He's side by side for the race lead. Oh, when the caution comes out, things were getting good between the front two.
Unbelievable time for a caution. We'll take a look at the NLRA instant replay here. Looks like Blake Giglio going to be the guilty party. We'll see what just transpired as he goes into turns 1 and 2. A couple cars in front of him getting locked up, tangled up. And it looks like that was Adam Elby in the 74 car that kind of got tied up as well. So tough break, wrong place, wrong time for Giglio and Elby. But nonetheless, it didn't look like they were in a prominent spot at the time. Yeah, it looks like Elby kind of turned to 24 there a little bit.
Yeah, just unfortunate deal, but it is just one of those racing accidents, and like LB be able to continue on as well as Giglio. So unfortunately they'll have to resume their race from the tail of the field. Tanner Pettit did not stop nor spin, so he'll be able to retain his spot back at ninth. Good run for Tanner tonight, currently 10th in the Apex points, looking to keep 24 machine inside the top 10 in points after tonight.
Yeah, he is tied in points with the guy that was just involved in that caution there, Blake Giglio. So if you are a fan, definitely a good opportunity to gain some ground there for Tanner Pettit.
C will lead us back down to the green flag. Single file restart. Laps to go. Villa right now +7, but how about it for Dylan Yeager? +15. Yeager, of course, started shotgun on the field. He currently runs 5th. Green flag.
10 laps to tell the story here tonight. Blake Majulis going to battle back to the inside. Here comes Miller. Kenny Miller. How about this, running the high side? He's going to be on the tail tank of Avila. Is Avila going to leave the lane on the high line? No, he is not. Avila holds on to second for at least one more lap.
He runs the slider line through turns 1 and 2. He's going to give up some speed on corner exit, but still has a healthy advantage into turn number 3. Look at Kenny Miller throwing caution to the wind. He's banging the boards off at turn number 4, and he's got a good run on Avila for second.
Dylan Yeager banging some different boards of his own. He's banging the inside boards. He is tacked and glued to the inside line right now. We'll see if he changes his approach here in these closing laps or if he's going to stick to what he knows. So far, it looks like he's going to stick to the inside. Ryan Avila into the wall.
Him and Miller made contact down the front straightaway, and that shot Avila into the wall. He's able to keep going, but look who's in the third now. Dylan Yeager from 20th up to the third spot. Does he have anything for the front two?
Ryan Avila jellyfishing for that second spot once again. Just a little bit of SpongeBob power on the inside of that cockpit. He's going to need every little bit of it he can have here in these closing laps. He's through the middle now. He is the meat of the sandwich, but look at Kenny Miller. He is moving forward. He is closing in on your leader.
Does Miller have anything in the tank? He's got a good run down the backstretch. He closes in on the 33. Slide job to the inside at 3 and 4. Off at turn number 4. The PA driver takes the lead at Lincoln.
Where did he come from, says Evan C. He's like, oh, hold my beer. I'll throw another slider on you. But Kenny Miller with a huge crossover move, huge run, Unbelievable.
Kenny Miller trying to keep this one with the posse. 2 laps to go.
Ryan Avila coming on strong in these late stages, but look at Dylan Yeager. The top 3 has just adjusted greatly. 3-car battle for third. Unbelievable racing here at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway.
Villa rides up on the wall. He's sideways, clips another car. We stay green. No, the yellow flag comes out.
Tough break. Wrong place, wrong time for Timothy Smith. Unbelievable. That is a tough break. Smith was putting together a really nice run. Avila is going to get saved by the yellow. Man, what racing action here as the NLRA replay comes up on our screen. You'll take a look for what happened.
Villa puts a pretty good slider on MC for the second spot. Throw Dylan Yeager into the fray. He's going to throw his own little bomb on Avila. Clears, but Avila catches the wall with the right rear, spins down the racetrack, and I believe that's Timothy Smith he got into. From there, the race officials threw the yellow flag, setting us up for a green-white checker to decide this one at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway.
Wow. What a 10 laps of racing there. Kenny Miller sitting atop of the standings, sitting atop of the field right now. Definitely did not have that on my bingo card, but man, am I happy to see it.
Miller has always been solid with the Apex Series, and he's one driver I think a lot of people overlook, and it doesn't matter whether it's in the real world or it's in iRacing. A lot of people overlook Kenny Miller, but to play, especially in PA, trying to keep this one with the posse tonight, trying to be the first driver in Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Car Championship history to win here at Lincoln Speedway. Obviously, this is the first race contested by the series, as this track was just recently put on the iRacing service, and Kenny Miller trying to keep this one in the Quaker State tonight. Question, Tyler, is what we got to ask ourselves. Does Dylan Yeager have anything?
He looked impressive, especially on those last couple of laps. He's glued to that inside line, and as of this point, I don't see anybody that's running a line similar to him at this point. That could change now with only 2 laps to go, but he's been glued to that inside. I think that might have something to say, especially in the short run. If you're glued to the high side and you have that time to build that momentum, which you do with 2 laps, Ryan Avila certainly has a chance to be knocking on some doors right now too. So it's going to be interesting to see these 3rd and 4th place cars. What are they going to do to work their way forward in these last 2 laps?
We're about ready to find out. iRacing's Chevy Silverado pace truck to the infield. The field in the hands of Kenny Miller. Slow pace down the starting zone and green flag. He gets on the throttle. Back underway. 2 laps to decide this one at Lincoln.
Great restart for Kenny Miller. That is exactly what he wanted and needed to have there. Ryan Avila on the high side. He's going to try to get back around Evan C., but a nice run down the backstretch and into 3.
Leads by a few car lengths into the corner. C drops it through the middle. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go for Kenny Miller.
Kenny Miller around the high side. Is he going to try to throw something, but holds his line through the middle? And you've got Yeager and Avila behind him in 3rd and 4th. But coming to the checkered flag, how about it? Kenny Miller, you are an Apex Autoglass and Tinting 410 Sprint Car winner at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway.
Miller wins the first race ever run by the Apex Series here at the Lincoln Speedway. Keeps it with the posse. Evan C's 2nd, Ryan Avila 3rd, Dylan Yeager 4th, Blake Majulis 5th. A barn burner here at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. Tanner Pettit, a strong run for him tonight in 6th. Your points leader, Mason Hannigan, 7th. Clayton Tilley, 8th. Tyler Shell, 9th. J.D. Brown rounds out the top 10. Then it's Aiden Bierlein, 11th. Alex Rzinski, 12th. Forrester, 13th. LB. Then Smith, Giglio, Edens, Hoffman, and Miller rounding out your field.
Unbelievable race there. Happy to have seen it. We're going to take a look and talk to tonight's podium, the top 3.
Have our winner in the chat. Kenny Miller wins the first race ever contested with the Apex Series here at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. And Kenny, we were talking throughout that broadcast about how you just seemingly came out of nowhere. Did your car just get better and better as the race went on?
Yeah, I definitely think it did. I switched my lineup. I think there was a caution with like 15 to go. And yeah, I changed my lineup to the top, and I really came on strong. The set really came to me, which was great because, early I kind of was just bouncing around 5th and 6th. So yeah, it's hopefully track stays like this, stays slick like this for the Pro Series, and who knows, maybe we'll be just as good.
He was the dominant car throughout the evening. There's no question about that. But you were able to get close to him a few times, and then obviously you were able to get past him. So what allowed you to make that pass on Evan C., which would eventually turn out to be the pass for the win?
I think Evan kind of like slid himself in 1 and 2, and I kind of just ran a little cut down off the corner and got a great run down the backstretch. And I closed on him so quick, I had to throw a slider. I was watching to make sure he didn't block, and we touched. But yeah, I just made my move, and then once I did, I think there was only like 5 to go. So just tried to hit my marks and not make any mistakes up there because it's very, very treacherous.
Anybody you'd like to thank for helping you get in victory lane tonight?
I'd like to thank everybody at Phantom Motorsports, 129 Racing, M9 Setups, Velocity Race Designs, and Trevor, Chris, Dave, Tim, Blake, all the guys, Sean, just for practicing together and being a good group of guys.
That is Kenny Miller. He keeps it with the posse here at Lincoln Speedway. Over to Tyler Harris with second place, Evan C.
Evan, congratulations. Welcome back to the podium here in the Apex Series. A little bit of a tough break there, but nonetheless, a respectable second place finish for you here tonight.
I was definitely, pleased with the speed we had. Just kind of got caught off guard about how fast the top was there at the end of the race, and I just didn't really have any laps up there, so I didn't know really how to run it, but just got caught off guard by that. But definitely had the speed to win, and I think if I would have switched my lineup a little bit there and just got to it sooner, I probably could have figured it out. But the lines can change so fast in these that it's kind of hard to change your line one lap if you haven't ran it that line before. But overall, I'm still pretty happy with our run tonight.
Yeah, you had led everything up to that point before the pass for the lead there, but it looked like for the most part you adjusted pretty well given the circumstance. What do you think attributed to that?
I think my left front got knocked out in that last yellow somehow, so I decided to just stick to the bottom or towards the bottom those final laps, and it didn't seem that bad, but probably could have switched to that line maybe sooner. But when you see somebody on the top and they're a couple tenths faster than everybody else, you want to try and figure it out. But we'll take what we learned tonight and try and use it for next Monday.
People that you would like to thank for getting you where you are tonight?
Yeah, I just gotta thank all the guys at CFM Sports, Majority Speed Shop, Captain Morgan, WR1 Sim Chassis, Tight Tree Defense, and just thank y'all guys for broadcasting for us, and everybody hopes put on this week for us.
Ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher here tonight, Evan C. We're going to move on once again to Drake, who has a third place finisher here tonight.
Ryan at Villa, you were making moves, not faking moves, as Bobby Gerald out in California would say. But the thing I got to ask about, though, is that helmet and suit design. Did that help you get a little extra speed tonight?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's kind of what I'm known by within the team and some of the iRacing community. But, yeah, not overall a good night. I know I could have gotten way more up ahead more, but just messed up a couple of times, and late race contact kind of ended that swing there.
You mentioned that late race contact where you rode up on the wall and you got together with Timothy Smith. What happened there in turn number 4?
I'm watching it right now. It just looks like we were 3 wide. I was coming off the wall. Jaeger was coming up as he should. He's running the bottom. Just a little bit of net code, so Jaeger got into Tim. He got right up into me. No contact made, just as I seen it, you're in the car and there's not much room you can give. So I just got up in the wall, came down on Tim, and unfortunately he was wrecked. So.
Well, that is going to do it for the podium. Ryan, before we let you get out of here, anybody you'd like to thank for helping you get here tonight?
Oh, yeah, Clayton Tilley at Momentum Sim Sport and SeatShop51.com, Trackside Collective, Tiltec Racing Products, Verdict Clothing, CT Design, CD Cinematography, and 213 Somewhere for what they do for me.
And Avila rounds out the podium in the first Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 Sprint Car Championship race here at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway.
A great night of racing. Definitely enjoyed it. I hope you all at home, watching at home on Facebook or on YouTube on the UDTV page, also enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, Drake. Incredible racing here at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. Fabulous racing here in the Apex Series. We look forward to next week at Pevely I-55. We will see what comes in these closing stages of this 12-week racing season.
There's no question about that, and this place was everything I hoped for and more, and Tyler, I think you'd agree with that too. And once again, as Tyler mentioned, hope everybody enjoyed watching tonight's broadcast on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks to Brett Wheeler at Ultimate Dirt TV. For Tyler Harris, I'm saying so long from the fabulous Lincoln Speedway.